Hi, welcome to The Rare Life. I'm your host, Madeline Cheney. Today we have episode 34, which is season 2's finale. We get to celebrate another awesome season together. We will do that by listening to some audio clips that kind of run through all the different episodes we released. And I will share 3 takeaways from parents in the form of audio clips, which is really fun. I will share my number one goal for the podcast for 2021 and give you a little sneak peek into the theme of season 3. So, first up, we get to listen to season 2's story episodes from parents.
And you're just like, what? It was the weirdest way I think you could possibly tell someone that their child has dwarfism.
You just take your emotions and you put them in a bottle and you seal that bottle and you put it somewhere else and you don't deal with it.
We would so much rather do special needs. It's hard, but to us it would be so much easier than having another child die.
But when you read about something that's rare and so different in the traits and symptoms and features, covers so many areas, medical, psychiatric, the food thing, you just, who are the other people navigating this?
Now for season 2's professional episodes.
It's just been such a healing thing for my own journey. And I think a lot less about all of the trauma that we went through. And I think a lot more about thankfulness.
That really is really powerful when you are able to reach that level of healing.
You can have a stress resilient mindset in that instead of seeing stress as a threat, you see it more as a challenge.
Anger is one of those things that people try to push down or push away or hide because it's so frightening, right? But if you can find a way to effectively deal with anger, oh, so good.
Season 2's solo episodes. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. I gave my son his condition. There were words like rounds, pulse ox, DSAT, intubated, extubated, OG, NG, sideline, PICC line, distended, retractions, charting, and residuals. And so that is our superpower. That love and that parents' instinct is so important, and our children need that. And season 2's special topic episodes from parents.
I think a really beautiful thing about anticipatory grief is we love harder and we do the hard thing.
It feels great, but fixing problems is a heck of a drug. And once you find a problem and fix it, you can't actually stop.
It's just like I always wonder who Lillian would have been. I, at the same time, wonder who would Kimbert be if he didn't have these medical complexities.
I'm just going to keep saying you are worth investing in, and you have to believe that. Or anything we share about ideas doesn't matter if you don't believe that you're worth it and that there really is enough time to find a spot for you.
I am so grateful for such an awesome lineup of guests from this season and all the things that they taught us. I especially appreciated this season's theme of our personal journey because I feel like we got deep and we got real and raw and all the things I love. Now we get to listen to takeaways from season 2. For last season's finale episode, we had 3 different kinds of listeners. This time, all 3 of them are parents. And it was really fun to hear their voices this time. I'm excited to share them with you. I will also put a link in the show notes for all the episodes that they mention. First up, we have Lauren V.
One of my favorite moments came from episode 29, when your guest Claudia talked about the importance of mindfulness for parents raising kiddos with a rare diagnosis. I think a lot of us might be guilty of spending precious time dwelling about events from the past or worrying about hypothetical situations in the future, while oftentimes our kids are standing right in front of us, happy and thriving.
Lauren, this is something that I've been working on too. It's really tricky for me to not worry about the future. And we have some scary surgeries coming up for Kimball, and I find myself imagining what it's going to be like and how sad he'll be. And I'm living through it many times over by being worried about it. So I definitely needed to hear your reminder via the takeaway. Thank you for contributing. Next up, we have parent listener Jessica B.
Season 1 of The Rare Life came at me like a swift water rescue team. I was drowning in wave after wave of information and a diagnosis I didn't understand. This podcast allowed me to see a community of families who also struggled with the exact same questions. When Season 1 ended, I felt rejuvenated and empowered. I looked forward to the episodes of Season 2 each week. In Season 2, there were many episodes I enjoyed. There were several evenings after the baby went to sleep that my husband and I would talk about the week's episodes. But the story of James and the episode It's My Fault stuck with me the longest. Jenny, the mother of James, was a true inspiration at a time that I had so much doubt in my own life. I appreciated her determined attitude when caring for her son. Being a mother is the hardest title I will ever have. But being a mother with a child with a rare condition adds a whole new element that few can relate to. Jenny reassured me that I was doing the best for my daughter and provided a valuable tip for keeping memos and notes for appointments. That have been so valuable. So I appreciated her attitude. She was fun to listen to, and she just kind of kept me going and keep doing what I was doing, even though I had some doubts at the time. I also spent many days and nights feeling so guilty for my daughter's X-linked disorder. I had no idea that this was even a possibility, much less when it happened, I didn't understand it. I felt so guilty for her struggles for a very long time. I felt guilty for even feeling guilty because it is part of who she is, and I wouldn't change any of that for the world. It was a relief that Madeline shared her own guilt and validated my own feelings as well. I had no one else to relate this to, this feeling of guilt. I have good, great, wonderful friends and family, but it's kind of hard to grasp what that must feel like. They can empathize, they can give me all the sympathy in the world, but someone else sharing that guilt, I don't feel like I'm alone like I used to. It's reassuring to know that there are others out there who are struggling through the same dilemma. I recommend this podcast to all my friends. It's a lifesaver.
Jessica, I love reviews and messages like this because it helps me know about the impact that the podcast is having. It takes a lot of hours of work and tons of effort. And so to hear that it is so impactful on your life is so meaningful. So thank you so much for telling me about that. And I agree. Jenny is so capable, and I was so inspired by her too. Also, before recording that solo episode about being a carrier for my son's condition, I actually hadn't talked to anyone else who was a carrier, and I thought it was more rare. And then after releasing the episode, many people reached out to me saying that they also are carriers, and I've realized that it's actually pretty common. So I totally appreciate and relate with you and how awesome it is to find each other and find other people who get that, because it's hard. It's really hard. Lastly, we have Erika S., who is a disabled parent of disabled children, which is such a cool perspective. Here's Erika.
Hey, Madeline. Congratulations on your second season of The Rare Life. My name's Erika, and I just wanted to say that I really loved your episode. You are exactly what your child needs. Growing up as a child with complex needs and now being a mother of 2 children with complex medical needs, I just can't tell you loud enough how true this statement is and how much it resonated with me. So often us caregivers tend to underestimate how healing our love is for our children. Their ability to communicate their love for us may be limited or different from what the outside world is familiar with. But that's the beautiful thing about the bond between us and our children. We don't need any words to communicate this kind of love. And I think the stories that were shared this season captured that perfectly. It's displayed in the way we grieve a loss we try to prepare ourselves for, while we simultaneously try to make the most of every day. It's the way we join a cause to advocate for our children and others like them. It's the way we carry personal guilt over a genetic makeup we have absolutely no control over. It's the way we finally decide to address our own well-being and take deliberate actions towards improving our self-care and our mental health. It's the way we refuse to accept anything less than perfection when it comes to our children's comfort, even if it means we have to bust out our own tools and figure out a way to create it ourselves. It's the way my mom would spend her evenings after work sewing soft strings to hold my trach in place because the ones our DME provided were leaving scars on my neck. It's all those things. So for the parents that are out there wondering if your child understands this language of love that is unique to lives like ours, I'm here to tell you they absolutely do. You are exactly what your child needs. And thank you, Madeline, for reminding us of that.
Oh my goodness, Erika, I loved hearing your insight and just hearing your view of season 2 overall. I just love that. And I love that perspective that you noticed and you appreciated your mother's sacrifices for you as a disabled child. And I think that is just so meaningful to hear your perspective. Thank you so much for contributing. As we're starting out 2021, I have made some ambitious goals for the podcast, and they all fall under one overarching theme and goal, and that is to get this podcast to those who need it the most. And I have several different personal goals in working on that, but one way that you can help with that is to do like Jessica B does and tell your friends about this podcast, tell other people if you think that they could benefit from it. That is a great way to spread the word about it. Another awesome way is to write reviews on Apple Podcasts. That is a really awesome way for other people to find the podcast because as they're higher ranked, more people will see it. And so I ask you, as soon as this is over, to just hop on there and give a quick review. That would mean so much to me. And it would really help push forward my goal of helping this get to more people and to benefit more people and add them into our community. So thank you for everyone who's already done that. And thank you in advance for all of those who will do that. Okay, so season 3's theme is going to be all about our relationships and how they have been affected by our children. I will share a lot more about that in season 3's kickoff episode, which will be released in 2 weeks, February 18th, in which I will also share extended clips of the first 4 episodes of season 3, including a very special episode that is releasing on Rare Disease Day. Don't miss it. See you then.